Hi guys, it's Nikki Jabor for Troy Build Canada, and one of the questions I'm asked all the time is how do I prep my garden beds for spring planting? Well, early to mid-spring is a great time to get outside and put a little work in your garden beds so that you can give your plants a great start. So, here are my 4 steps to getting your garden beds ready for spring. Step 1. Inspect your garden beds and make repairs as needed. Sometimes you need to replace or even re-secure boards if you have raised wooden beds. This is also a time I inspect my tunnels and my trellises to make sure everything's secure and they also don't need any repairs. Step 2, tidy up. Clean up any vegetable debris that's still in your garden, maybe vegetables you harvested last fall or last winter. Clean that up and throw it in your compost bin. This is also a good time to pull any weeds if any spring weeds seem to appear, and they're always the first plants to emerge. And look for any tools. I have a bad habit of forgetting tools in my garden and discovering them in spring after all the snow melts. So gather up your garden forks, your hand trowels, any tools that might have gotten forgotten in your garden. Give them a good cleaning if they need it. You can sharpen your shovels and spades if necessary, and get ready to garden again. Step 3, loosen your soil. I don't deep dig my garden beds, but I do like to lightly fluff the soil in spring because winter snows and rains can really compact the soil down. So I make sure there's no weeds, I remove any rocks and stones, and I give the soil a light fluffing just to loosen it up and get it ready for seeding or transplanting. If you have an in-ground garden, this is also a great time to rototill your garden and work in soil amendments. Just remember, don't till if your soil is still very wet. Let it dry out a little bit first. Step 4, build your soil. And this is where I spend most of my time in the spring garden because healthy soil yields healthier plants, and healthier plants can produce a larger harvest. So spend some time working your soil in the spring. Before you rush off to the garden center to buy soil amendments, ask yourself if you need a soil test. It's generally a good idea to test your soil every few years so you can get a sense of the fertility and general health of your soil. I typically add organic matter like compost or aged manure to my garden beds in early spring, usually a few weeks before I intend to plant. Not only does organic matter improve the soil, it also increases its water holding capacity, it adds nutrients, and it feeds the microorganisms that live in your soil. So it's really important to add plenty of organic matter to your garden beds. But how much is enough? Well, I usually add about 1 inch of compost or about 2 inches of aged manure. And then of course you can also add complete organic fertilizers to your garden beds as well in spring. But if you have a soil test, it'll help you pinpoint exactly what your garden needs.